Hey guys, it's Spacer Sims, and we are back with more Butterflies Poison, continuing what is either Kyoko's actual kind of route thing or Majima's bad ending. Don't know. We'll find out when we get there. Again, I'm assuming they both are the same branch, so we'll get a choice in a little bit. Well, not in a little bit. Yes, we'll get a choice in this part that will differentiate what route we're on. But as of right now, I'm clueless because like shit's changed, but whatever. But yeah, so I was having a great day. It was like best Monday ever, and now I have ants again. Guys, can I just fucking tell you? Okay. Well, I mean, like, so I had them a year ago coming in from the outside, like under one of my baseboards, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, fine. I always had an ant trap down. And then they came out of my dishwasher. They were coming up alongside the dishwasher and all over my counter. So then I have a trap on my counter that sits there permanently and one that sits by my desk. Well, apparently the one by my desk, the ones that came out of my dishwasher have come out. They came out again like a couple months ago. And I was like, well, okay, the trap's there. And I put out a new trap because the old trap was getting a little dried out. And I was like, oh, okay, put a new one there. Great. So today, all of a sudden, I'm like, ow, what the frick is on my toe? And then I realized something was on my toe. It bit me. A fucking ant bit me. That little son of a bitch. Well, you know what? That's his fault. He bit me. He's dead. And now all his friends are going to die too because I wouldn't have known they were there. But they were under my desk. It bit me. So then I'm like, okay, the trap, to be fair, the little bait trap that I have under there was definitely like completely dried out. And I was like, all right, we'll get a new one and hope these fuckers find it. So like, fine, okay, whatever. But it's like, so I go to get the trap. I'm like, let me get the trap. I bought new ones. The last time I had ants a couple months ago. So I go, let me get a new one out from under my sink. The fuck are there ants under my sink too? Like, they're coming out from the dishwasher spot again, but instead of going up over my counter and going to the court, they're like going into my, and I'm like, seriously? These are the two spots I've had ants before, so like, okay, it happens. So the tiny little ants, little tiny black ants, you know what I mean? Actually, these ones are a little bit bigger than the teeny tiny ones. Maybe they just seem that way. They seem slightly bigger than the tiny ants. Huh. To me, like the tiny ones are very, like the little sugar ants. These ones seem bigger. But they're not huge like carpenter ants, you know what I mean, where they're giant. I swear the one that bit me was a fire ant, though. I swear to God, they look red. But then again, it's like, me on the floor with the flashlight. Okay, can I also tell you how fucking stupid I am? How old I am. I'm like, oh God, I gotta see under my desk. It's dark. Let me go find my flashlight. My flashlight barely works, and then it stops working because, the batteries are dead. Okay, fine. I don't have D batteries. Great. I have another flashlight that my dad gave me. Is like an LED kind of one that's got like, you push the little button, it's got the little one that faces forward, and then it's got a bigger one on the side, so you can have like more light. Doesn't work. And I'm like, I don't know how to change the battery on this thing. Are you supposed to be able to change the battery? Whatever. Looking for flashlight. I mean, I have a bazillion because I was always prepared by my parents. Have a flashlight in every room in case the power goes out. Then you have a bazillion flashlights. Why can I only find two? Finally find one in my drawer. I'm like, oh, it's a tiny little keychain one where you hold the button and it's got a little LED in case you're at dark and then you need to find your keys in your car. You know what I mean? So I'm doing this. Okay, I'm watching the ants. Okay, put the bait down. Like, whatever, do all my stuff. Fine, I'm going to go sit back down on my desk, go on my phone. Right. I'm so fucking old. I'm looking for a goddamn flashlight when there's a fucking flashlight on my stupid phone. Guys, what the shit? I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, it was a great day aside from the stupid fucking ants. And I've had ants before, so it's not like, it's like, I'd rather deal. It's like, oh, fine, I'll put a bait trap down. They'll go away in a couple days and never have to deal. I won't have to deal with them for like months again. Probably till like next spring, summertime. It's like fall, but like it's been rainy, so fine. Whatever. They'll come out again in the spring and then I'll kill them. It'll be the cycle. And I'd rather deal with that than like mice in my old fucking apartment or like cockroaches or something. Like, rather deal with teeny tiny ants. Like, it's fine. Put a trap down. It's a pain in the ass, but whatever, But like, it didn't mean it had to bite me. And it doesn't mean they have to come out of both spots at the same time. Guys. Like, what the shit? Anyway. Oh my God. It bit me. That was the meanest thing. It's dead now. And again, all his friends are going to die. I'll take my vengeance. Anyway. So, we're back here on whatever route. So, She still has no idea who that man was. When she recalls the horrendous experience, her left breast aches painfully. The area he touched still stings and remains hot. She doesn't even want to imagine what would have happened if Majima hadn't arrived then. Oh, Majima didn't arrive then, okay. She's determined to take a bath as soon as she gets back inside the manor, and then she'll wash away the repulsive memory. With Majima's arm around her shoulders, Spacey walks while leaning on his chest slightly. She wishes the path that leads to the manor would go on just a little longer. I do love if this is Kyoko's kind of ending. Like, obviously, I think... Okay, I'm going to skip this. Okay, we are not going to the tiger meat party. I kind of... Ah, okay! Was drink Majima's tea an option the first time we went down Kyoko's route? This is what I thought. We're gonna get here, and we're gonna have this option, and this is where it's gonna differentiate. Okay, so we are gonna be in Kyoko's route, because I'm gonna choose visit my mother. But anyway, what I was saying is, I do like the fact that you have all these little touching moments with Majima. You know what I mean? It's like... And, okay. Yes, I know in the last part I was like, I don't know. I was in a place where I was like, I don't like it because, like, I want these moments with Majima to be in his route. But now, like, I don't mind it as much because it's kind of like, well, you know, though. I think I was just, okay, I gotta finish a sentence and be coherent. I think initially it bothered me because it was like, no, I want Kyoko's to be kind of separate. I don't want to have the Majima stuff. I want to do that when we go down Majima's route. You know what I mean? Like, and I was also thinking... Wait, I don't want to be in Majima's route, and I was kind of stuck in that I was afraid we were in Majima's route, you know? So that kind of made me, like, a little, I don't like this. But, like, now that we're more secure, I know for a fact we're going to go into Kyoko's route now. I don't necessarily mind it as much, given a little bit of time to kind of, like, let it sit, because having these moments with Majima, like... is kind of nice and sweet because you're like, oh, she's just pining for him, and he's your brother. And you know what? It does make the anticipation like so much worse. You're like, oh, it's so wrong. I can't wait. You know what I mean? But I think that got overshadowed with the I don't know if we're in Majima's route or Kyoko's route now. You know? I do wish there had been a warning maybe in the guide that said you're gonna get a new scene if you're in Kyoko's route, so that I would have been prepared for that, because the only warning is, oh, if you see this new scene, you've unlocked Majima. Well, yeah, but you unlock Majima as soon as you do at least the truth route. So it would have been nicer to have that warning on Kyoko's kind of route, like, you'll unlock a new scene, a new intro will happen that shows that you've unlocked Majima's route, don't worry, his route and Kyoko's kind of have the same. You know what I mean? Like, some kind of a warning would have been nice so that I wasn't, like, as concerned. So, that's my only gripe I think that I've ever had about Otome Kitten's guides. Is like, that would have been nice to know, girl. Would have been helpful if you put that out there. Because you put it on Majima's and then I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are we in his freaking route? So, yeah, the warning on Kyoko's would have been like, you're going to unlock some new things about Majima once you've cleared the above route, should be fine, type of a thing. But anyway, we're going to visit my mother. So now we're going to go into Kyoko's. And again, somebody will tell me, like, literally we did the other one 2 parts ago. Like, was that an option? The flower's name itself. It's always the right one. We go to Kyoko. Okay, so this is the same situation that we did. So, first floor. Where should she look? We're going to go to hamper 1. Skip through. We go back to first floor. This is where it gets confusing because it's like first floor, hamper 2, hamper 3, hamper this. And like hamper 2, we go back to the first floor. And then we go hamper 3. First floor. Where should she look? The wall. This one's so funny. It's a wall. It's a wall. That was so unnecessary to put the wall as a choice and put that. But I just love that they did it. They were like, oh, put the wall. What's on the wall? Nothing. It's just a wall. Just put it's a wall. Funny. Like they coded that. Like somebody thought like I love it because it's pointless, but it's great. Second floor, and now this one the choice doesn't matter. Where should she look? You know what? Let's do the window because we checked the hamper the last time. Let's do something different because this one says choice doesn't matter, and we should be able to get Kyoko's ending after this. So we'll do the window. She can see overgrown trees from here. That's it. Okay. Or along the world. Oh, intent on returning to the manor, she walks toward the storehouse door. However, in that split second, a shadow of something she can't identify falls upon her. Wait. Something wraps her in a tight bind and pushes her down against the tatami. The collision knocks the breath out of her and she gasps, noticing the ragged breathing of a beast on her neck. On her cheek, sorry. It's happening again. It's Saburo again. Her entire body trembles in fear. Didn't Saburo work for Kyoko? So, like, do you think Kyoko's kidnapping me? She fights, struggling because her life depends on it, but the beast doesn't even budge. She opens her mouth, ready to scream, but something invades her mouth. She can't breathe. She writhes to break free. Putrid smell of something old travels into her nostril while her tongue tastes the bitterness of a cloth. Her eyes are wide open when her vision suddenly turns pitch black. The beast has put something to cover her head. Her own panicked breathing reverberates in her ears, sounding like that of a cornered prey. She's still curled up to herself when the beast gets a hold of her hands and ties her wrists behind her back. Hurts. Suffocating. Her bones creak. She's drenched in sweat. The only voices she hears are groans. I'm going to assume it's Saburo's. Like, making creepy noises. Repulsive voice of a man. It's cackling. The sound is enough to drain the color from her face. She tries to scream, but the cloth inside her mouth prevents her from raising her voice to produce anything louder than a groan. Something's covering her entire face, and she can't see a thing. The shock propels her to fight back, desperately, but she is no match for the brute. Her fear turns into despair. Red dyes her vision. The horrifying experience. Feels like her body has been torn into two. She can't tell what happens next. One might agree that Spacey is fortunate because she loses her consciousness. I kind of feel like there's no way this could be Majima's bad ending because we chose the right things, but Kyoko's ending is kind of coming along at this point being very traumatic, like a bad ending. Hurts. And I guess, okay, so like again, it's kind of like back to, you know, me being like, oh, okay, and like reading. I just want to, oh, come on, hold on. I want to go back to the guide. I'm going to go back to Kyoko, right? Friendship route, but not really. And it's got the little like face. Bye, Sugar Mama. Kyoko is the daughter of a very rich and prestigious aristocrat. She's a carefree individual who doesn't seem to mind what others think of her on the surface. She's a pleasure seeker as well and does what she wants without a care in the world. Kyoko's close to Yuriko's mother Spacey's mother, and has shown an interest in Spacey ever since they met. And this is from Otome Kitten. This is what she wrote in her little like review and update thing. I was told this is more of a friendship platonic route, but I beg to differ. While it wasn't clearly portrayed that both Spacey and Kyoko end up in a monogamous relationship, no one can be absolutely convince me it wasn't suggested. They both had a thing for each other. I love this route so much, and I wish they went all out with full-blown Yuri for this one. And it's just kind of like, but at this point you're like, this seems more like a bad ending than, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, based on that review, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, oh, we're gonna have a route with her like everyone else, and then like whatever. Like, okay, we're hinting that we're doing shit, but they're not gonna, like the other ones have explicit sex scenes that were cut out for this version, but still, you know the porn shit's there. Porn shit wasn't in this route, but it's more implied, or like you're like, it's like, yeah, I know, and they were roommates, and you're like, okay, you know. But this right here, you're like, I don't know, we're gonna, I'm very confused. I'm very confused. her route's starting off a little bad. You know, like this is, and maybe we're gonna get rescued or saved or something. I don't know, but or we're gonna be repelled from men because of this scenario, and then that's how we're gonna end up being like, fuck it, I'm a lesbian now. Sure, okay. I don't think that's how it works, but whatever. I mean, okay, look, I don't think that's how it works like 99% of the time. But maybe there are people that have been in this situation and have been like, fuck men, lesbian now, and made that choice for themselves instead of like, you know. And that's valid too, I guess. But it's not, usually how it works. Whatever. It hurts. Her eyelids feel like they're made of lead when she opens them. She's awake now. Her surrounding is pitch black. I mean, I guess I can get it. Like, you all of a sudden, like, you develop trust issues with men because of this shit. You're being assaulted, and then Kyoko's there for you, and then you develop a relationship with her and feelings. But then I would argue that you were just bisexual or pan the whole time. You just didn't know it yet. Because you like and you fall for Kyoko for who she is, not because I'm into the vagina. You know what I mean? Like, you just didn't know you didn't have a preference yet. And I guess I could see this character being that way, if that's the way they want to go with it, because it's not like she's like, I mean, she had a crush on Majima and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that, like, again, you could grow up and be a lesbian, but maybe have crushes on boys when you're younger, because that's just what you're used to seeing and being portrayed, and that being more readily available out there as quote-unquote normal. I'm not saying it's normal, but you know what I mean. Push that as like, oh, that's normal, and like, normal is however you are. That's what's normal for you. Okay, you know what I mean? There is no such thing as actual normal, But anyway, that's what you see as the quote-unquote default or whatever. So, and then one day you're like, you know what, actually? No, I don't like that. Kind of like me. I sit here and we make all sorts of rude, inappropriate comments and I sound like a whore. Like, oh yeah, I'd take my brother, whatever. But it's like, in reality, I'm like, don't touch me. I'm not into that. Whatever. Like, I'm demisexual. Like, it's going to take a lot for me to want to have any kind of relationship with you physically. But in these games, I'm like, let's get down to it. Let's bone. You know what I mean? I'm all talk, no walk. So, you know what I mean? I mean, so I could get it if you were like, no, I'm supposed to like boys. So I have a crush on a boy when I'm in like middle school. And then all of a sudden one day you're in high school or 20 years old or maybe you're 40. Who knows? And all of a sudden you're like, actually, you know what? I'm into chicks. Shit, where'd that happen? It takes a long time to figure yourself out sometimes. Some people get it right away and some people take a while. I did not figure out what demisexual was or that it applied to me for a long ass time, okay? Because, like, the term didn't exist in my universe, so I had no idea until I was reading something, and then, like, and people were talking about it, and I'm like, I don't know what half of these terms are. So I looked it up and went, oh my fucking god, and my whole life fucking clicked for me. But, like, I spent, like, my teenage years and then some, like, feeling like a weirdo. Because, like, I didn't get it when my best friend would be like, oh yeah, I want to jump that guy. Oh, I'm like, I don't know if she was just normal, had a normal sexuality, or she was just overly sexual. I don't know. It seems over the top and overly for me, but maybe it's normal that's normal. But like she said, I'll be like, yeah, huh? And I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't get that. I don't understand this. Like, I want the romance and the bonding, and then I'm fine with the sex, but like, and I want the sex in these games. Don't make me read it, because it's embarrassing. But like, I am here for that. Like, yeah, let's do it! Like, but that's not how I am in real life. You know what I mean? That was like a weird, not even correlation here. But anyway. I mean, so I could get if that's what they're going to do in her route. Be like, she doesn't trust men. She trusts Kyoko, and that trust forms a relationship that becomes, romantic. That we don't see, but, well, they're not going to explicitly give. But I could kind of see where they're going with that, but anyway. She's awake now. Her surrounding is pitch black. Tracy tries to move her body, little by little, beginning with her fingers. She can move her hands. They're no longer bound. She seems to have been freed of whatever was covering her face, too. She's been left on the floor. Ugh. Spacey groans as she stands up and opens the door. So he tied her up and probably drugged her, because I would assume the cloth jammed in her mouth maybe was like doused with something, or whatever. Or they just waited till she passed out, then they untied her and left. I wonder, because this time, right, we didn't, the last time when we got the truth route, we went down and then we saw a hamper, we went and pulled the diary out, you know, right then and there. But this time we got attacked. So I wonder if Majima was the one who ripped out those pages and then knew we were in the storeroom, had Saburo attack to tie us up, like just to tie her up, whatever, so he could steal the diary before we found it. So, like, we're not going to find the diary now. Obviously, because we just walked out the door, so. She takes a step outside, liberated from the air inside the storehouse, and if, say, we saw the hamper right now and opened it, like, oh, let me keep searching and forget the trauma that I just went through, she wouldn't find the diary, I'd bet anything. Shining through the gaps of the trees is the pale moonlight, illuminating Spacey, because there's no other reason why you tie her up and then let her go. I'm 5. Again, I thought that was going to go way worse than it did. She tells herself amidst the fog shrouding her brain and pushes her way through the thickets in the garden. Cruel reality. The tragedy inside the storehouse. Maisie rolls down her sleeves, fixes her collar, and wobbly makes her way forward. Under the moonlight, everything looks azure. Oh! She looks up at the sky and spots a spider web. Silver webs glinting beautifully against the full moon. Like a JoJo Spider is the title of Kyoko's ending, so there you go. Oh, that says Joro Spider. This says JoJo in the thing. Typo. That looks like a banana spider. Isn't that? They're kind of like oblong-y shaped like that and yellow, because they're banana yellow. Anyway. Small body and those long limbs. Judging from the size and vivid colors, the spider must be a female. It's a spider she's seen all too frequently in this garden ever since she was a child. If this were any other day, Spacey would have paid the spider no mind. But today, the creature and its web look absolutely breathtaking. I thought for a minute she was going to be like, it must die because I'm angry. Leave spiders alone. Look, my house is riddled apparently right now with ants, but also spiders. There's always spiders. Fucking. I'm haunted by spiders. Like, at this point, I'm like, whatever. As long as they're little, I'm like, okay, you're small. You can just go. Just, stay up in a corner or under a thing. Somewhere where you're not running or jumping in my face, then I'm fine. Like, if I go to move something and you jump at me, I'm going to scream and swat at you. You know what I mean? It's instant reaction, but... Big spiders, if it's a daddy long legs, you just grab them by the leg, throw them out the door. Any other spider, if it's giant, no, then it's gotta die because I don't like big spiders. Like little ones? Fine, whatever. Got tons of little house spiders everywhere. I used to name them and then they all vanished. I miss Gary. He was the wall spider that would be on my stairs when you'd walk up the stairs. He was just a little spider always sitting in the same spot. And that was Gary. Don't smush him. I don't know where he went. I miss him a little. She wonders if it's because she heard that female Joro spiders kill and eat the males when they're mating. Huh? Like praying mantises do. I wish I could turn into that spider right this instant. Okay, see? Okay, they're going exactly where I was wondering they were going to go. She's like, men are scum and they must die. Let's go, Kyoko. Let's have a lesbian love affair. Alright. Her emotions are locked up inside now, frozen. But what will become of her once they're thawed? Well, I'll tell you that. Whatever. Thinking sounds like a lot of trouble. Right now, she's just tired. So tired. Several days have passed since the tragedy. Spacey's cooping herself up in her room today, too, sitting on her bed and hugging her knees. She's found it impossible to leave her room. She's refused to let anyone enter her room, too. Everyone except herself scares her. Men, in particular. Her brother, Fujita, and Majima, are all worried about her, and they've tried to check up on her, but she just can't bring herself to let them in. And that's kind of sad, because those are the 3 men that are trustworthy in your life. Okay. Majima maybe not so much. Okay, he's not gonna hurt you like that. He might just try to make you suffer because he's your brother? Yeah. Questionable. Majima's questionable. He's not going to assault you like that. He might stab you or burn you, or like literally light the house on fire. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he might try to kill you, but that's different. That's different. You know, although technically, I do feel like he's responsible for that. Because nothing. Well, okay, here's the thing. The way they explained this, she got tied up, bound, gagged, tied her up, and then she woke up in the storeroom fine. It didn't say like she adjusted her, like they didn't specifically clearly state she was assaulted like that. You know what I mean? They didn't go that far. It sounds more like, yes, he attacked her, tied her up, whatever, in order to possibly, what I was thinking, like, okay, yeah, that's still traumatizing. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not begrudging her being like, what the fuck? But they didn't specify that he actually physically like didn't, you know what I mean? And I got the impression it was like, okay, he just tied her up, gagged her, whatever, to steal the diary, and then okay, she's knocked out, let me untie her and leave. You know, not saying it's not traumatic still, but it's not on the same level as being sexually assaulted. You know what I mean? It's not on the same thing. Like, both of them are traumatizing and scary, and I can understand her trust issues, but one is definitely way worse than the other. You know? Like, this, I can understand you building trust issues. Eventually you could work past it. The other one, it's going to take longer to get past that. That is something that's a violation, like a worse violation than just being tied up. You know? Like being mugged. That doesn't sound like a fun time. That sounds traumatic and horrifying. There was a difference between me being mugged and being sexually assaulted. They're different. They're in different planes. You know what I mean? So like, they didn't really explain if that specifically happened or not to her. But it feels like they're trying to imply it, but they're doing it in a very vague way where it's like, I'm still in the mind of like, okay, yeah, this was a traumatic experience and you have trust issues because someone tied you up. And maybe you don't know if anything happened to you. You don't know. You know what I mean? I think you might know because you'd be like, things hurt and that's not, you know what I mean? But you don't know if he touched you or looked at you. You don't know up to a point, you know? But I feel like the game should have, if that happened and it was something that, say, well, they wouldn't have even taken it out because, you know what I mean? I think they would have just maybe been a little more specific about it, but I just feel like that's something they shouldn't have taken out. They should have been specific about it and like, or at least hinted a little more clearly, you know? Because, I don't know, so I'm kind of on the like, what exactly happened? I feel like nothing to that extent happened, but based on the being groped and then now this, I could absolutely understand where you're like, no. You know what? I'm freaked out. Like, I get it. I get her being freaked out, but like, I think for me, I'm just like curious, like, are they trying to insinuate, but they're not telling you? Like, I want them to be hint a little bit more, because like, I'm not getting it, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be like, I think it's important for the story, you know? Be like, oh my god, what happened? As opposed to, she's freaking out. Like, I get the freak out, but it's kind of like, I need to gauge exactly what happened so that I go, you're freaking out a little too much, or like, you know what, it's understandable. I think right now it's fine because, you know, everything compiled together, you're like, nope, men are gross. Done. Just, you know what I mean? Especially in such a short period of time. And it's not like one instance, like this is literally within a couple of days. A couple of days, and someone just keeps doing this in your house. Like, you know, I can kind of understand that it's kind of just scary and like freaking you out a little, but and it is sad because like your brother and Fujita are like, Fujita's the most trustworthy person in this house, you know? But anyway. Every fiber in her being rejects the living being known as man, and the rejection is instinctual. Interesting. She doesn't want to see them or hear them. So she shut herself off, closed up like a shell. She's withdrawn into a world in which she's the only resident, separated from the rest while breathing quietly. See, to me, I feel like this is a slight overreaction. Like, I kind of understand it, like, but to me, this is more of like a reaction less than like she was assault. Like, you know what I mean? This is more like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've never been in that position, so I guess I really shouldn't say like it's an overreaction or not, because you can't help the way you react to certain things. You know what I mean? Like, I had a bad day. I'm just gonna be on the floor crying like it's the end of the universe when it's just overreacting. You know what I mean? So it's valid. I shouldn't really say anything because you can't help the way you react to things, and sometimes you're gonna underreact and sometimes you're gonna overreact. You know? It just depends on the day and the shit going through your head. So this being close together, okay. Plus, it's the way they're writing the story, so that she goes runs off with Kyoko. Alright. Sometimes the memory of what happened to her that day comes back to life in clear images. She doesn't want to feel anything. She doesn't even want to think about it. Sure, that man is still after me. Oh, well, if it was Saburo, yeah. It was the second time. First time Majima came to her rescue. He promised her that he wouldn't let anyone suspicious enter the manor's premises under his watch again. But he failed to keep his promise. Oh, ouch. Spacey curses this vulnerable body of a woman that she has. She couldn't do anything but let her assailant sink his fangs into her. It seems more implied that something more happened. Without anyone to act as her shield, she had no way of protecting herself. Although I guess, I mean, either way, whether it 100% went that way or it was just, whatever, it's still a violation and you still feel unprotected and scared and vulnerable, so. And now there's no one around to protect her. Father was killed and her mother passed away, and you don't trust the other men in your house, so. Even though they would protect you. Although, again, I think Majima's kind of responsible for this. Because I think he had Saburo tie us up and get the diary so we wouldn't find it. Her brother goes off to the red light district every night. Okay, well that's valid why he's not exactly the reliable type. Vegeta's busy with making sure the household gets by. And Majima's domain is just the garden. No one else cares about her. That's so sad, because they all do. They all do. But this is... shit like this goes through your head. It's valid. You're like, no one cares, because in that moment of need, no one was there. But it's nobody's fault. You know what I mean? No one... You're not always going to have someone to jump in and protect you every second. But this is absolutely valid when somebody's not there. You're like, nobody cares! Everything is against me! And it's like, yeah, they do care. And if they were... And if you told them what happened and you know what I mean? But like, now I get it. It's valid. Spacey's alone. Painfully so. And that's the worst part, because you're not. You're never alone. Like, I feel like these intrusive thoughts and things like this happen too when you're just, like, especially if you're depressed or upset. Like, you have these thoughts. Nobody cares about me. I'm alone. So, like, but you're never alone. So, like, if you've been through anything traumatic, this is Grandma Spacey telling you, if you've been through anything traumatic, or you're just depressed or upset, or it doesn't even matter, like, in your mind, if you think, oh, well, it's stupid to feel this way. It's not. It's not stupid to feel any way that you feel. Your feelings are always valid, and you're not alone, and people do care about you. Like, there will be someone to talk to. You just have to remind yourself of that and find that person, you know what I mean? But there's always people around you that care, and you're never alone. Okay, I mean, there's going to be situations where you 100% are alone. But, like, most of the time when you have these thoughts like this, you're not actually alone, and people do care. You know what I'm saying? She wants to rely on someone. She doesn't have anyone like that around. She hears someone approaching her room. Oh. Whoever it is knocks on her door. I was going to assume it was Virginia. My lady, you have a guest. Huh? Daisy eyes the door with suspicion. I believe I told you not to let anyone in. Spacey, it's me. Oh, someone called her and was like, she needs help, man. She's not talking to any of the dudes in this house. Woman, need you. Oh, Lady Kyoko? It's Kyoko's voice. Perhaps it's the surprise that stunned Spacey into silence for a moment. What's Kyoko doing here? Oh, right. Come to think of it, she did promise Kyoko that she'd look for her mother's diary in the storehouse. Maybe the lady's worried because she hasn't heard anything back from her. No, sweetie. I think it's actually kind of sweet that we're like, oh, she must be here about the diary. The thought doesn't cross her mind that the men that you are like afraid of, that you're like, I can't rely on any of these fuckers. One of them is like, she's not talking to any of us. Call Kyoko. She'll talk to her. She's not talking to us. She'll talk to her. You know what I mean? That like, it's adorable and sweet. You know, because, okay, our brother is not very reliable. And Majima's maybe trying to kill us. So, questionable. But Fujita's dependable as fuck, okay? He may be busy, but he cares. And if we went to him, he would drop everything to help us. You know he would. Or actually, especially if you berated him a little. We know he likes it. Easy. Do you mind if I come in? Huh? Oh, not at all. Please. The permission leaves her mouth before she can stop it. Truthfully, she doesn't want to let anyone in. Because she's scared of humans. But Kyoko's a woman. A woman wouldn't harm her. That's the rationale that's encouraged her to let the lady in. I don't know, your brother warned you. She's bisexual. Oh, she's a wolf. Okay, whatever. Give me a break. Pardon my intrusion. Kyoko. Oh dear. What happened? You look shattered. As soon as Kyoko enters the room, the quiet space around her livens. Unbelievably so. Maisie hasn't been in touch with the noise of another human being in days. It's not an unpleasant feeling. I've been worried about you all this time, you know. Fluid movements, Kyoko sits down next to Spacey's bed. When you came to my house, you were in such high spirits, but then I never heard back. I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. Now that I've seen your face, I feel relieved. The lady's cool palms cup Spacey's cheeks. The smell of cosmetics and perfume rises from Kyoko's neck. The gentle smell of a woman that doesn't make Spacey feel like she might face more violence soothes her mind tremendously. See, we get in that we're like, men are awful. You know, this is nice. I'm just going to say maybe we were a little bisexual the whole time, or we just didn't know. Or again, it's a trauma response. Regardless, whatever. Haven't found the diary yet. Oh, I see. But seeing how you were so enthusiastic that day, I believe you went straight to looking for the diary as soon as you got home, yes? It's true, but did something happen? Yes? In the storehouse? The question strikes Spacey like a lightning bolt. It feels as if someone has her heart in a tight grip and she curls into herself. Storehouse. Just the name of that place is enough to make her want to puke. Her sudden change startles Kyoko and the lady begins to panic. Aww, look, our first Kyoko CG! There's only 4 of them, apparently, but here's the first one. Spacey, are you alright? She wraps her hands around Spacey's shoulders. Unlike the beast from that night, the lady's skin is soft and smells wonderful. Flowers. Spacey finds herself burying her face in the lady's embrace. She wanted to be comforted by someone who would replace her deceased mother. Lady Kyoko. Her throat tightens up. She clings to Kyoko's chest and cries. Kyoko strokes Spacey's back in silence and holds her tight. You poor thing. All what you went through must have been frightening. How's your body? Does it hurt anywhere? Spacey's face feels so hot, it's as if she's burning. Not just the memory. Pain in her body is another thing that had been preventing Spacey from forgetting the horror of that night. Okay, so now this makes it sound, aside from like someone grabbed you and tied your arms behind your back, it makes it sound like maybe something more did happen. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, like, I just wish the game had been a little bit... I don't want you to give me specifics. Don't be like don't give me graphic depictions. I don't want that. That's traumatic. But a little more to make it obvious that, like, you know, he didn't just tie her up and leave. It was something out. You know what I mean? Like, because, like what they said in the garden, he grabbed her breast. Like, do something where, like, oh my God, she... Like, a little, even one line, something where you're like, oh no. And then she blacks out, whatever, and then so you at least know for a fact that happened. But I guess either way, whether it happened or she was just tied up in physical pains from your arms being tied behind your back, or your body is pain because someone assaulted you in a, like, you know, either way, the trauma is the trauma. So I guess it doesn't technically matter. She's dealing with something that was traumatic for her one way or the other. So I don't know, it's just one of those things. I'm like, I want to know though, did it happen or no? Like, what actually happened? Like, maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't want to know, you know? So even though she doesn't answer her verbally, Kyoko seems to be able to get a read of everything by taking a look at her complexion. All right, my lady, if you don't mind, come to my house. What? I'll treat you to dinner, and I'll lend you an ear. Kyoko, it'll be fine. It'll be a secret between you and me, and no one will know, okay? Kyoko peers into Spacey's face and nods encouragingly. She nods back, albeit nervously. Right now, the only person she can rely on is Kyoko. I mean, and that's the thing, like, you would tell your mom, but your mom's no longer around, so the only person you have you feel like you can trust is another woman, and it's Kyoko. That belief leads Spacey like a leash around a frail animal. I feel like right now what they're doing with Kyoko's route, oh my god. Look at all the dolls in here, it's kind of disturbing. I was gonna say something nice about Kyoko, but she got so many dolls, I'm creeped out. No, but I kind of like what they're doing, the way they're setting up Kyoko's route. Like, you know, our brother was originally, well, Mizuhito, not actually our brother, but whatever. Oh, she's bisexual, you have to watch out for her, whatever. Kind of setting her up almost like she's a predator. Like, oh, she's gonna try to manipulate you. And based on the shit that our brother dealt with Kyoko, her being a pimp, I could kind of understand where he's coming from in that respect. You know what I mean? But they kind of almost make it like, oh, you gotta watch out for Kyoko. She's dangerous. And it's not because she's bisexual, but it's because she's like a pimp. A bisexual pimp. You know what I mean? Like, he's throwing all this. He has a very negative opinion about her because of all that shit. But it's kind of funny because now we're here and it's like, Kyoko's the only one we can trust, and she's reaching out and she's helping us and she's gonna take care of us. Like, you know what I mean? She's actually being very sweet and considerate and, you know, whatever, and caring for us in this time. And that's like really nice. I like how they're not like, oh, well, she's gonna like manipulate us into this relationship. No. She's just coming in and like, look, I'm gonna be here for you because woman to woman, we need to stand up for each other and be there for each other. And like, you know what I mean? Like, she can understand the shit we're going through. Like, she may never have been in this place, but she can understand it better than a man can understand it. You know what I mean? Because women have felt that fear at some point in their life, have felt that, just have that knowledge, just have that in the back of your mind. You got to watch out what you're doing. Men don't have that fear of predators that women do. You know what I mean? So a woman can understand that and empathize when you're in this situation versus a man. Unless a man's been in that situation, it does happen. You know, sure, but like a majority of times, a woman's going to understand you better in this predicament, you know? So I like the fact that they're setting up this as less the predatory kind of thing that our brother was kind of like, oh, she's by and she's interested in you and blah blah blah, like she's gonna lure us in and like maybe we're into it, but it makes her seem like a predator, you know, as opposed to now where she's like, she's being caring and considerate, and then maybe shit happens where it's like, you know, I just like that they're doing that a little bit better. They're doing her a nice service here instead of a disservice, you know what I'm saying? So as soon as they arrive at Kyoko's manor, Kyoko takes Spacey straight to her room. Although, she has so many dolls, it's creepy as fuck, so. Once Spacey stepped into the room, she stiffens. The wall's covered with dolls, and more dolls. Yeah. Depending, dolls are kind of creepy. Oh, what's the matter, my lady? Huh? Oh, no. Sorry. Just surprised to see this many dolls. Oh, these children. Aren't they endearing? No, they're terrifying. Kyoko smiles and looks around. I hate children, but I adore dolls. They're cute, beautiful, and they're all so good. They don't cry and they don't scream, and they're just waiting obediently for me to hug them. I mean, I get it. I get her. I hate children, but I like dolls. I get that. I hate children, but I still don't like dolls. They're also creepy. But you know. Japanese dolls and French dolls are laid all over the place. Black hair, blonde hair, silver hair, and red hair, blue eyes, green eyes, purple eyes, white skin, light brown skin, translucent skin. Spacey herself likes dolls, but being surrounded by these many dolls, this many dolls, is frankly creepy. Yeah, that! Of course, she manages not to let her discomfort show in front of Kyoko. No, come on. Just sit here, my lady. Okay. I'm sure people would feel that way when they come into my house and see all my anime merch everywhere. They're like, this many anime men is creepy. It's fine, guys, it's fine. Prompted by the lady, she takes a seat on the couch. Kyoko sits down right next to her, getting close to Spacey. Shortly after, a maid comes into the room with some tea. The lady tells the maid not to let anyone in before asking the maid to leave. Once they're alone, Kyoko gently takes Spacey's hand and smiles as if to reassure her. My lady, I won't ask you to tell me in detail about what you experienced. I promise I won't do anything you don't like. I just want to tell you one thing. I understand very well how you feel, and I know what happened to you. What? You look like you don't believe me, The lady asks if she's seen through her mind, and she gulps. But Spacey hasn't told Kyoko anything. How can Kyoko sound so confident? I'm just saying, she might recognize the look on your face because she's been there. Actually, I've gone through the same thing. You did? Yes, I did. And it broke me. I was awfully depressed about it, and I thought that it was for me, and thought that it was, for me, the end of the world. I was in your shoes back then. It does seem like Kyoko knows what she's talking about, knows what kind of tragedy befell Spacey. This makes it sound like it should definitely happen. Still, even just the first time being someone groping you, grabbing your boob, that's still... No, shut it down. None of this. We're traumatized. Not like that's still, even if it only got that far, it's still like, violated. Maybe that's why Kyoko was able to quickly sense what happened to Spacey, because she had the same experience. Spacey hasn't found her voice yet because it's hard to imagine someone like Kyoko, someone who's so bright, like she's the sun personified, would have such a dreadful past. But know this, my lady. It wasn't it. It wasn't the end of the world for me. It made me realize something. What it means to be a woman. It means to be a woman? Indeed, my lady. Lady Kyoko smiles, calmly and bewitchingly at her. You mustn't be afraid of men. A young and beautiful lady like you mustn't coop herself up in a room and lead a bland life just because of the worthless creatures that men are. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to cheer you up. I'm going to bring back your smile. It's magical, really. It's magical and unbelievable how Lady Kyoko's words have worked to open up her vision, overwriting the days she spent cowering and curling into herself in a closed world. Perhaps noticing that she's succeeding in getting Spacey to slowly open up, the lady continues in a cheery voice. Go on, drink that tea while it's still warm, and then I'll have you eat the sweets that I'm proud of. Oh, these sweets are so cute. What are they? On the ceramic plate are little flowers in various colors. Peach, pink, light green, salmon pink, and more. The surface of the petals shines brightly, making the flowers look like they belong in some sort of dreamland. At a glance, no one would guess that these flowers are actually sweets. Spacey's captivated by the sight. I know! They're cute, aren't they? And they're a confectionery that I colored with fruit juice. And they have a peculiar texture. Try some! I'm sure Fujita would be happy if I gave him one of these. Spacey thanks the lady for the sweets and puts a small flower into her mouth. It's so sweet and strangely soft. It has the texture of sticky rice cake. Nothing like the confectionery she's eaten before. It's so good. Such an interesting texture. Isn't it? I first learned about these at a tea party hosted by a lady who came from France. I wanted to make it myself, so I asked the Western confectionery shop that I frequent to teach me. I have the shop to thank for putting up with me. You're also particular about food, Lady Kyoko. And that I am. I love delicious sweets, beautiful kimono, flowers that smell nice. You'll be wasting your life if you don't enjoy plenty of good things like that. So, my lady, forget the bad things. Paint them over with the interesting things that excite you. If you continue locking yourself up in your room, you won't even have the chance to encounter the new and novel. Yes, you're right. I agree with you. As she warms herself up with the tea and enjoys the sweet confectionaries, she begins to think that the time she spent cooped up in her room is terribly saddening. Just like Lady Kyoko pointed out, here's the fun part. If one of your brother Fujita was like, no, you can't let the bad things get to you. You've got to override it with good things. You'd be like, how dare you? But a woman says it and you're like, you know what? You're right, girl. But it's mostly because Kyoko's like, I've been where you are, and this is what I did to fix that, and then you're like, so you take what she's saying to heart more than the men who are all responsible pigs for what happened to you. You know what I mean? Like, but it is funny that if a man said the same thing, you'd be like, fuck you. You don't know what I'm going through. But a woman says the exact same thing, and you're like, actually valid. It's kind of funny, but again, Kyoko's been here, so you trust her more than you trust the men, and that's what makes the difference. It's the trust thing. I trust Kyoko right now, and what she's saying makes sense. And even though I would have trusted Fujita, he's still a man, and I don't trust men, so he might say the same thing, and I'm going to be like, bullshit. Like, she couldn't have made it out of her room alone. She was able to get here to a point where she's starting to rediscover the happiness of an ordinary life, because Lady Kyoko pulled her hand and led her out of the room. But it is kind of funny, like, it's kind of like, you think that deep down inside, she wanted this back. She wanted to be able to take control back and find a reason to get out, because I don't think it would have happened that fast if you were in the nope, don't want to do it. If you didn't want to find a path to recover from this, you would still be stuck in that room, and Kyoko taking you out wouldn't have changed anything, and Kyoko saying this wouldn't have changed anything. You know? Because it starts with you. You know, you have to want to make progress. You have to want to make the change. Because nothing else anyone says is going to happen. Is going to make that happen. You know what I mean? You might not realize it, but somewhere inside of you, you want to, like, she wanted to get out. She wanted to get past that. She wanted to get over it and get back on with her life and, like, find a way to, like, move on, you know, and overcome all this. Kyoko just was the hand that guided her to that, so. I wonder if the medicine I gave you is working, the lady says, perhaps already noticing the change in Spacey's complexion. Or she drugged us. Okay. The lady's staring at Spacey with a smile that's both teasing and innocent on her face. Yes, very much so. That's good to hear. Thank you so much, Lady Kyoko. Okay, maybe metaphorical medicine. Spacey thanks Kyoko, and she means it, from the bottom of her heart. She wouldn't have been able to break out of her depression without Kyoko. Someone without the lady's brilliant and resolute personality wouldn't have been able to distract Spacey from her deep sorrow. Oh, I've got an idea. You should stay here for a while. Huh? But why? You'll be safe here, and no one can guarantee your safety if you return to that manor, right? Oh, the lady does have a point. Spacey's been attacked twice in the manor's premises. There's no guarantee that there won't be a third time. No, actually, she's sure there will be a third time. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was Saburo both times. Spacey's clearly being targeted. The beast must be keeping his eyes on her, waiting for her to be alone. But I don't want to be a bother to you, Lady Kyoko. Of course you won't be. Not at all. If anything, I'll be happy to have you here. A young woman like yourself will surely lighten up this boring house. Kyoko laughs cheerfully and sips at her tea. The lady looks like she's having a lot of fun. Suspiciously so, in fact. She's like a child who's eager to be taken to the public flower garden. I'll prepare a room for you. If you're staying, we need to go shopping for you. Huh? Why what? What else but your clothes and kimono? What? No, I couldn't possibly. You're like, I could just go home and pack my shit. The lady's suggestion has come out of the blue, and Spacey panics. I'll bring my own stuff. Oh, please, what's the harm? Let me pick out some clothes for you. It's been a dream of mine to dress up a pretty young lady. Your dream? Yes. Oh, heavens. Why did I have to give birth to a boy? Boring. So utterly boring. Kyoko continues, already determined to have Spacey stay here and dress her up without actually listening to her input. It seems that the lady thinks of her as a living dress-up doll. Sometimes that's fun. But Spacey doesn't hate the lady's attitude. He figures frolicking with a gleeful and gorgeous lady is so much better than staying in her room back in the manor with dark thoughts for company. Just by being in that manner fills her head with the thought she'd rather not have. So Kyoko's suggestion does sound like a good idea to Spacey. Yeah. Okay, we still have a few more. I was just trying to debate. I'm like, but it's fine. The following days hit her like a storm. Shopping, going to the Imperial Theater, and eating at traditional Japanese restaurants, all from morning to night. She lets Kyoko take her places, and she finds herself in a life that occupies her mind and revolves around her so fast it's dizzying. This is where we get romanced. Spacey's been so heavily burdened by the weight of her household's impending financial doom that she didn't have the time to even consider playing to her heart's content. To her, everything about this new life is invigorating. Like living in a picture scroll dyed in hundreds of brilliant colors. So, my lady, what do you think about this color? Kyoko's been dressing Spacey up like a doll, quite literally, too. And Kyoko's shopping thirst knows no bounds. She'll still offer other options she deems just as wonderful, even though Spacey's settled on something. And she's got a new color kimono. She's wearing orange now. Oh my! This kimono does look good on you. Just look at this Kaga Yuzen design with plenty of chrysanthemums. It's like this kimono was made for you. Well, maybe, but don't you think it's a little too glamorous for me? Oh, stop that! What are you saying? You're a beautiful princess. Are you fine with not making yourself look gorgeous? The one I had in mind the other day is also classy, but I think kimono and bright, eye-catching colors suit you better, my lady. Yeah. Things Kyoko picked for Spacey do look like they were made for her. In hindsight, she should have expected the lady, who has a weakness for fine clothes, to have such keen eyes. Still, everything she picked for Spacey stands out, guaranteed to emphasize Spacey's presence and make people do a double take when they pass her. And right now you're like, I kind of just want to blend into the background. And she doesn't like that. Not really. Plain clothes are boring, yes, but putting on flashy articles on herself. Wow, it's not me, it's the sentence. Putting flashy articles on herself somehow makes her feel less like herself. Wow. I can read. Oh, Lady Kyoko, I think I like the color of this kimono. Which one? What piques Spacey's interest is a kimono with a Yuzen design that depicts a pattern of summer flowers on a vertical warp soft silk gauze in the color of rabbit ear iris. Oh my god, that was a sentence, and I don't know what any of that means. I'm just kidding, but I don't know what a Yuzen design is. But summer flowers on a vertical warp soft silk gauze in the color of a rabbit ear iris. What the shit? What did I just read? Well, it's certainly nice. And the things you choose are very tame, though. Is that so? You have fair skin, so vivid colors look better on you. Still, if you prefer more muted hues, I guess you'll feel more comfortable wearing clothes in those colors. I don't have your glow, Lady Kyoko. If I wear a vibrant kimono, people won't be able to see me past the clothes. Looks like someone needs a lesson about herself. And I'll gladly give you that lesson. But from now on, I'll take my time to help your charm bloom. Well, I guess we've had enough of kimono shopping for today. Let's check out some evening dresses. Huh? Evening dresses? Kyoko purchases everything they picked and practically skips to their next shopping destination. It takes all of Spacey's strength to keep up, and not stumble in the process, with Kyoko's rapidly changing and dizzying materialistic desires. Lady Kyoko, you wear kimono all the time, so I'm surprised we're actually going to look at Western clothes. That may be true. You know, I think my father doesn't like it when I wear Western clothes. Oh, I didn't realize. And that's why I only wear evening dresses when my father isn't around. Thankfully, I'm not really fond of Western clothing, and they get me all riled up right away. Huh? Nothing. Just talking to myself. Come on, I'll pick some dresses that you might like once we get to the shop, my lady. That was a quick transition, but it was kind of one, so I'm going to stop here. We'll go to the next destination, unless, with my luck, this will be like 2 clips. But it's like normally it's a slower transition, but this one was like, done, next scene, and it's like, well, we're getting in the car, but we haven't gotten, you know what I mean? So anyway, I will See you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.